Everything that we know about Syria is But I'm so curious about the real Syria. I want to travel to Syria and see the truth of Syria. But I think Syria is the danger place to travel. And it makes me so curious about the real condition of Syria. So in this video, I want to react to Eva Zubek vlog about her travel to Syria. Okay, let's start!
I wasn't sure what I would find in Syria, but never in a million years did I imagine I would have found what I did find. This is the story of my journey from Lebanon to Damascus. Alright, I've got the Lebanese exit stamp right here in my passport, and we are just in no man's land between Lebanon and Syria. We're headed towards the Syrian border. We should be there very, very soon. All along the way, I wondered whether I would actually be allowed to enter. I couldn't film any of the border crossing. Luckily, I got through. I'm in Syria. This is the Syrian stamp. I got a visa for 15 days, and we are on our way towards Damascus. I could not be more excited and ready to do this. A country torn apart by a bloody crisis over the last 8 years, Syria hasn't been letting in any tourists for almost a decade. I'm one of the first few in a recent, more relaxed shift in the visa regime. In Damascus, I was expecting to see a city that was lifeless and devoid of hope, but that's not what greeted me there. From the very first impression, Damascus didn't just surprise me, it astonished me. Frankly, most of us don't know much about the city, and to see it so full of life and colorful, wow. And there was all the history that luckily survived the crisis. But with so much to see, there's only one way to truly kick off a tour of beautiful Damascus. Guys, I've just entered the Umayyad Mosque, which is one of the most iconic mosques in the world. It dates back to the early 8th century, and it is also meant to be one of the biggest mosques in the world with a capacity for about 20,000 people. Just look at this masterpiece. You know, once upon a time, this mosque actually housed a church as well as a mosque. So right now, this entire religious complex is built on the foundations of different religions. This is something I would hear over and over again from Syrians throughout my trip. That prior to the conflict, Syria has always been a land where Christians, Muslims and Jews could be neighbors and worship alongside each other. These words have stayed with me since then, but on that day, well, things got a little less serious as soon as I left the mosque. Guys, the craziest thing just happened. So we just left one of the most important monuments here in the city, the Azam Palace, and I got this from one of the men at the ticket office. Just like that, I got a book, and he gave me this beautiful shawl in the pattern of the Syrian flag, and I just totally didn't see it coming. People here are really kind and really, really generous, and it shows pretty much every step of the way. That's really lovely. And they're also very curious because, there we go. Got a little crowd around us. This was the first sign of things to come. The generosity that I would experience from people who didn't know me. Like in this tiny hole-in-the-wall bakery. When they saw a foreigner, the men working inside immediately invited me in to see how they make their bread. And they didn't let me go empty-handed. I got this bread for free from the bread factory. It's too much! When you're wandering around the streets of Damascus, you get a strange, layered sense of life and nostalgia and tragedy and hope. It's hard not to sense that there. Eventually, in an alleyway in the old town, I suddenly found myself in a tiny shop with Artisan handcrafted mosaics, traditional to Syria. So Johnny is the owner of this amazing shop, and he has this factory right there on the side as well. And I'm just here, I've been here for about 20 minutes trying to pick out a piece that I would like for my home, for myself. And there is just so much beauty here. All of these items, all of these boxes and chest boxes and souvenirs, everything is made by hand, and it takes days upon days to make every single piece. Some of them are inlaid with mother of pearl, which is a precious material, and many of them are made from rosewood, which is one of the most precious kinds of wood. This stuff is just incredible. Every single piece, I'm in love. And this shop has stood the test of time for well over a century. How old is your shop?
How old? For 140 years old.
And how many generations work here?
5 generations.
Can you imagine the amount of work that goes into every single piece? Still made very much by hand. Anyway, while I was browsing through these beautiful pieces, Johnny and my guide, Asadi, were having a very different kind of conversation.
We are talking about religious things, and why do we respect? I said to him that I translated to you that we respect religion and human. He said no, we are respecting, okay, but we respect more the humanity. Humanity is humanity. We have to respect each other.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Beautiful. And you know what else is beautiful? This piece that I bought from Johnny's shop, and which he meticulously wrapped for me with so much love. Alright, I have just become the proud owner of a beautiful, beautiful chest.
Welcome.
Kind of like this. Thank you so much. This is Johnny's shop right here in Damascus. Pleasure meeting you. Bye-bye.
Happy enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Love your laugh.
Masalama. Wow, what adventures. Beautiful. Just the things that you find on the streets of Damascus. Amazing people who work hard, who create beautiful art, and are so kind and so generous. Before coming to Syria, I had the impression that the country was barren and empty, that everybody had left. I think that is often the image that we see in most global media. So don't blame me when I say that I was surprised to find that Damascus was actually a bustling historic city with incredible people and lively souks. Guys, right here behind me, this is the main souk of Damascus, and the entrance gate is just splendid, spectacular. This was actually once the temple of Jupiter. Can you believe it? Let's go inside. I quickly realized that the Damascus souk was one of the most diverse bazaars I had ever visited in the Middle East. From souvenirs like the fez or the Syrian cap, to keffiyehs, traditional instruments and metalware and copper and silver, to some more unique items, and of course, my favorite, cardamom coffee. A beautiful, powerful smell of freshly roasted coffee with cardamom. Wow. As an ice cream connoisseur, I also had to stop by one of the most popular dessert shops in town. This is one of the most famous, if not the most famous, ice cream shops in Syria. And it's over 120 years old and still running uninterrupted. Now, the way that they make the ice cream is pretty special, and I want to show you exactly how it works. The ice cream at Badaksh is made right here in the shop in front of all the customers, and it's crafted entirely by hand. This is bigger than my head. 2 of these. I don't know if I can eat them both, but this looks absolutely amazing. I've never seen ice cream like this. First time for everything. Let's eat. Wow. This is so creamy. So good. So good. Tamam. He makes the ice cream, by the way. Tamam? Tamam. Tamam. And by the way, may I add that I also got the ice cream for free. I didn't want to have it for free. I tried to pay so many times, but the owner insisted that he wanted to give it to me as a gift. I'll tell you about all this generosity and what I think it means in the context of me, an ordinary traveler, at the end of the vlog. But in the meantime, there was just one last place I really needed to check out on my tour of Damascus. Damascus is full of history and tradition, but there's one particular custom that's extra special, and it only exists in a couple of cafes right here in the heart of the old city. This is the custom of the storyteller. Every evening, a storyteller used to come into all the cafes in Damascus and tell stories of old. Instead of watching television, people would listen to the tales of the storyteller. This tradition still survives, but only in a couple of selected venues, and we are right now in one of them. I mean, just imagine, in today's Damascus, in a smoke-filled room, trinkets and decorations of old all around you, and in the middle, on a throne, a man with a sword, reading tales out loud to a keen and listening public. And as the tale unfolds and the evening deepens, the coals in your shisha continue to burn brightly. The truth is, I don't understand a single word, but I really wish I did, because the story sounds extremely dramatic, and the way that the storyteller draws you in just with his voice and his gestures is pretty spectacular. In this smoky cafe filled with people from all different backgrounds, it feels like something from a completely different age. Look, I had an absolutely incredible time in Syria. The experiences I had, the people I came across, the culture that I got to learn about, those were absolutely unforgettable. Syria is the cradle of our civilization in so many ways, and even today, in Damascus, that really shines through. But there's one thing that I really need to express and tell you guys about, and that's the fact that Syria is still not exactly the easiest and safest and most straightforward travel destination you can go to. Because see, Syria continues to be in the midst of a crisis that has been going on for several years now, a crisis that has rendered many people homeless, that has separated families, and that has unfortunately led to too many deaths. And as a traveler in Syria, I felt extremely privileged and extremely lucky about the fact that I was able to travel there pretty freely. Travel freely in a country that many people still haven't been able to return to after having been displaced by the conflict. So, to any traveler going to visit Syria, I urge you to consider your privilege. Consider just how lucky you are to be able to visit this place so early on, at a time that is still difficult for many people who are wishing to return to their homeland. And to all the Syrians who welcomed me into their beautiful home, I thank you. This has been one of the most transformative and eye-opening journeys of my entire life, and I hope to come back soon. And I only wish for stability and prosperity in a peaceful Syria. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next vlog.
Wow guys, my curiosity about Syria has gone. Thanks for Efajubek vlog. Because of her vlog, we can see the truth of Syria. I don't want to talk about the politics and also the word stereotype of Syria, but I want to talk about the peace, the hopes, the humanity of Syria. I think Syrian people are so friendly and kind. I feel so sad for everyone that's separate from their family. I hope the Syria conflict will be ending soon, because this conflict there is no humanity. Alright guys, thanks for watching my video, but don't forget to like, comment and also subscribe. Okay, see you in the next video.